The aim of this video is to teach those using insulin at home important survival skills. To better understand diabetes, we will show you what happens in someone without diabetes. In a healthy body, the pancreas, an organ just below the liver, makes insulin. Insulin is a hormone that helps the body to control blood sugars. When we eat a meal, some foods are absorbed as sugar. The healthy pancreas will make just enough insulin to prevent blood sugars from increasing too much. Insulin can be seen as the key that unlocks the cell for sugar to enter from the blood into the cell. Inside the cell, the sugar is used for energy. Even when we sleep, a healthy pancreas will still make insulin, but in much smaller amounts than what is needed after a meal. You might wonder why insulin is needed while we sleep. Our brain cannot function normally without a constant supply of sugar. Therefore, the body makes its own sugar from within. Without a healthy pancreas making insulin while we sleep, the blood sugar will increase even when we're not eating.
Without insulin, the sugar in the blood cannot enter the cells to be used as energy. This causes high blood sugars. Without insulin, the body is forced to burn its own fat for energy. Fat stores are burnt down to form ketones. Unlike sugars, ketones don't need insulin to enter the cells. Inside the cell, ketones are used for energy instead of sugar. But too many ketones are dangerous and can cause a diabetes coma called a DKA, which stands for diabetes ketoacidosis. The only way to treat a DKA is to give insulin to the body. The sooner the better. The good news is that a DKA can be prevented if we know the warning signs of high blood sugars.
When the blood sugars are very high, you will stay thirsty despite drinking lots of water. You will urinate more often and feel very tired. Despite eating more than usual, you will lose weight. If not treated in time, a DKA will follow. Warning signs of a DKA are stomach pains, nausea, and vomiting. Your breathing will change and you will show signs of dehydration like sunken eyes and a very dry mouth.
If our pancreas can't make insulin anymore, we are in danger, as the sugar can't be used for energy. Remember, insulin is the key that opens our cells for sugar to enter. Without insulin, our body is forced to burn fat to form ketones for energy, which puts us at risk for a DKA, a diabetes coma due to very high sugars. Someone with type 1 diabetes needs insulin every single day, ideally before each meal to prevent the food from increasing the blood sugar too much, and at bedtime to keep sugars controlled while we sleep. What do you think is the main purpose of the prescribed insulin? Insulin is needed to prevent too high sugars, not to bring too high sugars down to normal. This is why insulin should not be skipped. Even when the blood sugars drop too low, insulin is still needed, but it is given after low sugars was successfully treated with sugar water.
There are many different types of insulin. We are explaining the most common types used in the public sector, color-coded yellow, green, and brown. Green-coded insulin, such as Protophane, is a slow type of insulin, slow like a chameleon. It is mainly used as background insulin. It is usually injected at bedtime and it works throughout the night into the next day. Skipping background insulin will cause high blood sugars throughout the night, making good control impossible. Yellow-coded insulin, such as Agrapid, is a faster type of insulin, like a cheetah, much faster than a chameleon. It is injected 30 minutes before a meal. It is called the food insulin, as its main purpose is to prevent the food from increasing the blood sugar too much after the meal. Brown-coded insulin, such as Atropine, is a mixture of the yellow and green. It is injected 30 minutes before breakfast and 30 minutes before supper, not after meals and never at bedtime. Skipping brown-coded insulin is very dangerous as it can lead to a DKA. As 3 meals and 3 snacks are needed, It is very important to inform your diabetes team if there are times when food is not available, as skipping the insulin is not a safe option.
No one using insulin at home should be without enough insulin stock, a glucose meter, and written information about insulin. By following these 8 easy steps, you will ensure that insulin is injected correctly. Step 1. Milky insulin, like green or brown coated insulin, separates into 2 layers when stored. To ensure that the correct dose is given, the insulin needs to be mixed well before it is used. Take the insulin pen and roll it 10 times between your hands, then tip it gently 10 times. This is 20 times in total. Do not shake the insulin. Step 2. Put the needle on. Ensure that it fits well before removing the outer plastic cover. Keep this cap for later use. Step 3. Prime the pen. Tap the insulin pen so that the air bubbles move upwards. While keeping the pen facing upwards, dial up 2 units and inject it into the air. Repeat this step until insulin spits out of the pen in a steady stream. The reasons are threefold: to get rid of air bubbles, to check if the needle is not blocked, and to check if the plunger in the pen is working. Step 4. Dial up the correct dose of insulin. Please make sure that you know how the dial works. You may dial back if you dial too far. Step 5. Insert the needle fully into the skin at the correct angle and into a lifted skin fold if necessary to ensure that the insulin is injected into the fat layer. Lifting the skin is needed to prevent the insulin from being injected into the muscle below the fat layer. Use 2 fingers to gently lift the skin away from the muscle. Do not let go of the skin fold while injecting the insulin. Grabbing the skin with your whole hand will cause you to lift the muscle as well, exactly what you don't want to do. Insulin injected into the muscle will work too fast and may cause too low sugars. Do not pinch the skin. The correct angle and the need to lift the skin will depend on 2 things: the length of the needle and the thickness of the fat layer under the skin. The shorter the needle, the better. See insulin booklet for more detail. Step 6. To ensure that the full dose is given, press the plunger down with your thumb and hold it down while counting slowly to 10. The full dose will not be given if you count without putting pressure on the plunger. Step 7. Hold your thumb on the plunger while removing the needle from the skin to prevent body fluids to be drawn into the pen. If you had to lift the skin, now is the time to let go. Do not rub the area, as rubbing will increase the absorption of insulin. Step 8. Remove the needle from the pen just after the injection. Use the outer needle cover to remove the needle safely from the pen. Keep it in a safe place. Never store the pen with the needle attached. Both sides of the needle is open. Air will thus leak into the pen, causing the plunger not to work. Please do not use the same needle until it is blunt. Needles should ideally be used once. If you do not have enough needles, it may be used 3 to 5 times. Used needles and syringes should never be discarded at home. Make a special container and take it to the clinic to be discarded as medical waste.
Injecting into the same spot too many times will cause lumps to form. The insulin will not work if it is injected into a lump, which can lead to a DKA. Lumps are prevented by proper rotation, using a different spot for each injection. But as insulin is absorbed faster from the stomach than from the thighs, you need to use a different spot within the same site. Let us show you an easy way to remember which insulin is best to inject where. The yellow food insulin is best injected into the stomach for a faster cheetah. The green insulin is injected nearer to the green grass to ensure the chameleon works slow and long enough. But now you may wonder, where do I inject brown insulin, which is a mixture of yellow and green? It is best to inject the brown-coated insulin before breakfast in the stomach for the daytime when the sun is out, and in the thighs before supper to ensure the green chameleon works slow enough to last till the next morning.
What do you think happened to this man? He felt sweaty and shaky. When he checked his blood sugar, it was less than 4. He forgot to take his snack when he took his green-coated insulin the previous evening. This caused his blood sugar to drop too low during the night. If not treated in time, this man could have gone into a coma during the night due to too low blood sugars. Take immediate action when your sugar is less than 4, even if you have no symptoms. Adults need 3 to 4 heaped teaspoons of sugar to treat a low blood sugar, also called a hypo, successfully. Sugar water is taken until the blood sugar is not low anymore. See your insulin booklet for the 5 steps on treating a hypo successfully. Remember, do not skip your insulin. If you can't find a reason for the too low sugar, such as exercising much more than usual or skipping an important snack, the insulin that was injected may need to be reduced.
The insulin booklet provides important information on checking your blood sugars. As good control will be impossible if sugars are high during the night, the most important check is early morning before eating breakfast, called the fasting blood sugar. Avoid pricking dirty or wet fingers. This was my sugar after touching the inside of a tomato. After I washed my hands with soap and water, my sugar was normal. Check the drop of blood. It should be rounded. If not rounded, your finger is not dry enough. Checking before and 2 hours after the meal is important to see if your dose of food insulin was enough for the food eaten. Aim for the lower range before meals and try to keep it less than 10 after meals. But it will be impossible to know what is the correct dose of insulin if you don't control the portions of food that is absorbed as sugar. Let us explain. If you eat 1 apple and then test your sugar 2 hours after eating, compared to eating 3 apples, of course your blood sugar will be much higher after the 3 apples than after eating only 1 apple. Therefore, it is important to know what food is absorbed as sugar and what food is not absorbed as sugar.
Which part of this plate of food do you think is absorbed as sugar? Would it be the top half containing tomato, carrots, lettuce and other vegetables? Could it be the meat, cheese or chicken? Is it maybe the fats such as oils, avocado or peanut butter? Or could it be the starchy foods such as potato, rice or pasta? The part of the plate that will mainly be absorbed as sugar is potatoes, rice and pasta, also known as starchy food. A quarter of your plate can be filled with starches. Non-starchy vegetables such as carrots, spinach and cabbage can be eaten in larger amounts, half a plate or more, without increasing your blood sugars. Fats and proteins such as meat, chicken or fish are not absorbed as sugar. A portion of fruit can be enjoyed after your meal. Even though fruit is absorbed as sugar into your bloodstream, it doesn't mean that fruit may not be eaten. Fruit is healthy, no fruit is forbidden, but portion control is very important. 1 portion of fruit is equal to 3 teaspoons of sugar. All starchy foods, including starchy vegetables such as potatoes, corn and sweet potatoes, are absorbed as sugar, just like fruit. Each portion will provide 3 teaspoons of sugar to your body. Like mentioned before, an easy way to control your blood sugar is to consider the foods that are absorbed as sugar, fruit and starch. 1 block is equal to 1 portion of fruit or 1 portion of starch. Therefore, foods that are absorbed as sugar are called block foods. Control the blocks, control the blood sugar.
This is an example of a meal plan. 3 blocks at main meals and 1 to 2 blocks as snacks.
This is an example of a breakfast. Half a cup of porridge like oats or mini pap is 1 block. Therefore, a whole cup will be 2 blocks. That means that you can enjoy 1 cup of porridge and an apple for breakfast to get 3 blocks. Remember, you can add, for example, peanut butter or peanuts to make it a more filling meal. For lunch, you can have 2 slices of bread. That would be 2 blocks. And a fruit that is equal to 1 block. If you don't have any fruit available, you can eat 3 slices of bread because 1 slice is equal to 1 block. By adding non-block foods, you can make it a very balanced and filling meal. For example, 2 eggs and 2 tomatoes. For dinner, it is helpful to consider the plate model. Fill half your plate with non-starchy vegetables, then add meat, chicken or cheese, and lastly, choose the block food you would like to eat. You can eat 3 blocks in total. This can be 1 cup of rice and a fruit for dessert. 1 cup of rice is equal to 2 blocks because half a cup of rice is equal to 1 block. Therefore, you can have 2 blocks and a fruit for dessert. This will equal 3 blocks in total. Or, if you don't have fruit available, you can have 3 blocks. This could mean a cup and a half of rice or pap.
We will now do a quiz. Guess if the food is a block food or not. Remember that block foods are starches including starchy vegetables and fruit. And non-blocks are the non-starchy vegetables, the fats and the animal proteins such as meat, chicken and fish. Let us see if you can guess. Is bread a block or not? Yes, bread is a block food. 1 slice of bread equals 1 block, therefore 2 slices equals 2 blocks. Is pasta a block or not? Yes, pasta is a block food. Half a cup of pasta equals 1 block. Is chicken a block or not? No, chicken is not a block. Is peanut butter block food or not? No, peanut butter is not a block food.
No.
Is potato a block or not? Yes, potato is a block. 1 medium potato equals 1 block. Therefore, 2 medium potatoes equal 2 blocks. Is sweet potato a block or not? Yes, sweet potato is a block food. Half a sweet potato equals 1 block. Is corn a block or not? Yes, corn is a block food. Half a cup of corn equals 1 block. Thus 1 cup of corn equals 2 blocks. Is green salad a block food or not? No, salad is not a block food. Having a big green salad with the meal is an excellent way to fill your plate without having too many blocks.
Eating regularly is recommended. No main meal should be skipped. It is better to eat less at a meal followed by a small snack than to eat too many blocks at once. Snacks are important in those using yellow, green or brown coded insulin to prevent blood sugars from dropping too low between meals or during the night. Snacks should be small and healthy, no more than 1 to 2 blocks per snack. Less healthy treats can be enjoyed occasionally in the place of 1 block. Examples are a box of Smarties, a small packet of chips, half a cup of ice cream, half a cup of French fries or 3 cookies.
Let us recap how to take control of your diabetes and stay safe. Use reminders to take your insulin. Always check that you have enough insulin to last you till your next appointment. And do not forget to check the expiry date on your insulin. Never skip your insulin. If your prescribed insulin causes your sugar to drop too low, or if your sugars stay high, your insulin should be adjusted. Your diabetes team should teach you how to adjust insulin safely at home. Check your blood sugars regularly. Checking without taking action will not help you to take control of your diabetes. If less than 4, take sugar water to prevent a hypo. If 15 or more, check ketones to prevent a DKA. Always remember, checking sugars without taking action is a waste of pain and blood. Learn how to adjust your insulin and food intake at home to take better control of your diabetes. Remember the important balance between block foods and insulin. Control the blocks, control the blood sugar. Do not skip snacks when using yellow, green, or brown insulin.
You can undo all your hard work in counting blocks at each meal and snack if you are not mindful about what you drink. Many patients believe that fruit juice is healthier than cool drinks. Can you guess how many teaspoons of sugar this 500 ml 100% fruit juice contains? 6, 9, or 15 teaspoons? There are 15 teaspoons of sugar in this 500 ml 100% fruit juice. This is more sugar than most cool drinks. Water is the best option.
Always remember, the main purpose of the prescribed insulin is to prevent high sugars, not to bring too high sugars down to normal. And lastly, remember, knowledge is power. Study the diabetes booklets and learn as much as you can about diabetes.